Welcome back, guys. It's been almost a year since my last video, so that means the pond has been in for almost 2 years now, and I just wanted to give you guys a little update. Some of the things I've added, and even some stuff that I would do different now that I've had the pond for 2 years. So let's get going. So the pond is doing really well. See, there's a duck in there now. Water's very clear, haven't had any major issues or anything like that. Maintenance, everything like that is pretty easy, so I really don't have any big complaints. So let me show you some of the things I've done different. So you can see in the middle of the screen here, I've got an arch, and let me show you where that takes you. Come down our pathway, past the first fog filter. So this, I wanted to create basically another room, if you will, in the yard. I want to utilize the yard as much as possible. So I built this archway here, and this brings you back. So initially I was going to do a vegetable garden back here, but I really wanted to just kind of keep this more for just aesthetic purposes, and so I'm going to eventually do a vegetable garden on the other side of the yard. But as you can see, I added a pathway here. I still need to set these stones, but that'll come in from the grass part of the yard. So as we come this way, eventually I want this to be, and it's pretty close already, but just completely filled with plants and flowers, and just make it very dense back here. So as we follow the path through, it's a little tight now because these sunflowers have gotten a little unruly, but sneak our way through here, and we've got a bridge, brings you across to a bench, and I created a little pondless waterfall, or a stream. So I just wanted something with a little bit of sound of water back here, because you can't hear the water from the rest of the pond from back here. This area also, it's a little sunny now because the sun's just coming up, but in the heat of the day, this area is all shaded from a tree that sits above it. So it's just really nice back here. Just kind of hides you from the rest of the yard. It's very peaceful. So yeah, let me kind of show you a little more. So the water just originates up top here, and we've just got a very simple little waterfall over the log. Into a little stream, and I've got some milk crates down in the bottom here that hold the water. Actually they start over here, but I've got like 10 milk crates, so it holds quite a bit of water. Super low maintenance. I've literally done nothing to this in the last 3 months. So yeah, let me take you back around to the other side, and let's talk about some things that I would do different if I had to do this over again. Let's take a look from this side here. As you can see up in here, this is a wetland filter. There's some algae in there, but I'm really not worried about that. It's just adding extra filtration for the pond. If I've got algae in my filters, I'm really not stressing too hard. You know, my main priority and focus is just keeping the pond's water quality clear, which, as you can see, very clear water. So the filters are doing their job. Let's come back around this side and talk about what I would change. So just starting over here, as you can see, I've got a shallow section over here, and this comes in through a beach. The beach area comes into here, and it comes down, and it's about a foot deep of water. And the reason I built that, or put that in, was to have a section where people can, they can put some chairs, or just kind of, take a few steps into the water, cool off a little bit, but they don't have to go fully into the pond if they don't want to swim. So, and it's been really nice. Coming up real soon, I'll put we have an umbrella that cantilevers over the pond to keep you shaded. So it's just a really nice area, but what I would do differently is I would have made this area a little bit less wide. So from here to here, it's probably, I don't know, 6 feet or something like that. And it just takes up a little bit too much real estate. So I probably would bring that back a couple feet. It still gives you plenty of room, but by doing that, it would give me more room to swim in the rest of the pond. So along that same line of thinking, take you on this side here. Another thing I would do, because we use this pond for swimming, is I think if I had to do it over, I would do some sort of manufactured like block wall for the lower tier of the pond, so that you can go straight up and down. And the reason I say that is when you set these rocks the way you do, you have to tier them up kind of like a pyramid, and it takes up a lot of space. So by the time you're done with it, what used to be a massive hole becomes a lot smaller because of all the rocks that you're setting. So like I said, there's pros and cons to both ways. The way I did it gives it a bit of a more natural look. It's got 4 places for the fish to hide and things like that, but it makes it a little bit less conducive to swimming. So I think for that reason, I would have considered doing something like that. Third thing, so I put lights in here, and they just weren't bright enough. I really underestimated how many lights I needed, and I kind of cheaped out a little bit on the lights. So if I had to do it over, I just would have done it right. Some bigger lights, more powerful and higher quality, so that I'm not having to redo the lights like I'm gonna have to. And then the last thing I can really think of is I think I would add, and I'm probably gonna do this here in the future, is just add some aeration to the bottom of the pond. You can see the gravel now, but the bottom will accumulate with some just gunk. Just debris will settle, and so that's really been the highest maintenance thing, is cleaning the debris and stuff off the bottom of the pond. So with a little bit more aeration, that would help push everything to the top and into the filters. So that's something I'll probably add here pretty soon. But outside of that, I'm pretty happy with it. I've been really just focusing on the landscaping, which I still need to do a bit more of, but the landscape is really really starting to come together. We've got a ton of plants back here, and for a pond that's less than 2 years old, it's really starting to come into its own. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them below. I try to get to them the best I can. Just remember, I'm not a professional. This is my house. I have no experience building ponds outside of this. So it's not perfect. There's plenty of things you can find wrong with it, I'm sure. But this is what I got, and we happen to like it a lot. So, like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. But if not, we'll see you in probably a year or so.
Calling you to say